I wanted to run by you the structure of the deal in the pest control company, get your opinion on it, and maybe if
Okay.
I can reduce the overall price. So they're doing about $400,000 in top line, about 130, $140,000 EBITDA, and we agreed on 450. It's $100,000 down, $75,000 for the next 3 or 4 years, and then she
Okay.
wanted some interest, so we agreed that the interest was going to be paid on the fifth year, which we agreed on $50,000. So total
Great.
purchase price 450,000. Any thoughts
That sounds
on
great.
that?
Sounds like you're at
Okay,
about a 3x on the revenue and I mean, excuse me, on the profit. And that sounds like that's within the range and you got good terms. So I like all of that.
cool. Any way that I can try to negotiate that interest out of the equation, the 50,000 at the end, or just close
Yeah.
the
I
deal
mean,
and
I mean, so yes, that's if that's the proposal from her, I'd just say, look, I'm paying you the full price that you're asking for. I'm not negotiating down. Normally, I would have offered this, but I'm not, and it's a no interest deal. If you want to do interest, then I'm probably going to have to talk about a lower purchase price. We generally don't pay interest on deals like that. Like that, that's the
Mhm.
other thing to, just because anything that sounds standard that there's a benefit to saying that. I know it sounds, dumb, but it actually does make a difference usually.
I'm trying to raise the 50, half of the down payment, 50,000.
Mhm.
And I was talking to Tyler, he's also a board member here, and I wanted to get your opinion on what the equity would be for the 50,000.
That's not enough money to give away equity, in my opinion, unless you just
Mm,
want, unless there's like value in the person that's putting it in. If it's not just money, if it's actually, well, it's money, but they also are going to help with this, and this, that would be different. But for 50K, I just don't think it's worth it. And I think that money, you can get that 50K from too many places for no equity.
hmm okay. If it was a larger amount, um, how would you calculate an equity to give someone if they are completely passive? Purchase price is 450. I'm trying to
Yep.
raise, let's say, 50,000, which is about 11%. I don't want to
Mhm.
give 11% equity, obviously. So what I was told was that I would take about 60% of the 11%, and that would be the equity that I would be willing to give away for the 50K, which would be about 6%. Is that fair? Is that how normally is done, or
Normally, it would be based on the value of the business, which may or may not be what you're paying. So if you are paying market value for the business, which I would argue you
Mhm.
are, at the
Mm,
multiple that we're talking about, then it would be fair that 1/9 of the value that the investor is paying the money for is what they would get, that
mm,
they would get the 11%. Um, the the so I think that you'd have a hard time if you're talking to me as your investor putting forth an argument that says, well, I know that the value of the company is 450 and I know that you're paying roughly 11% of that value, but I really want you to take a loss and be in the hole on your
mm,
investment the minute that you make it. I'd be like,
mm,
right? If instead you could put forth an argument and say, look, the company is worth 900,000. And here's how I come up with that because this, and this, and we're going to do this. And so this is my valuation. And so based on a 900,000 valuation, your 50K works out to, 5.5%,
6.
right?
Mhm.
Or six or whatever you want it to be. That's how I would want to present that. Does that make sense?
Mm. It does. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay. Okay.
And there's nothing to
Yeah.
say that you can't argue the valuation to be higher than what you're paying because that happens all the time.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't let that
Hmm.
stand in my way, but I would definitely create the case for a valuation that tracks the percentage that they're putting in.